Disappointing people feels worse than disappearing yourself. You know that feeling. You're in the middle of a conversation, and someone asks you for something. And before they even finish the sentence, before you've had a single second to think, you hear yourself say yes, not because you wanted to, because the alternative felt unbearable. There's a word for this, not kindness, though that's what it looks like from the outside. The word is convenient, and you have been convenient for a very long time. What that's cost you is something most people never get to name. Picture this. It's Friday evening. You're exhausted in a specific way, the kind that sits behind your eyes. You had plans, quiet ones, just you, your couch, an hour where nobody needs anything from you. Then your phone lights up. A friend, a favor, something that will take just an hour. And you feel it, that split second where your whole body says no. It's clear, it's physical, it's real. And then you type, "Of course. What time?" You go, you help, you smile through it. And on the way home, there's that feeling again. Not guilt exactly, heavier than guilt. The feeling of having abandoned someone, that someone is you. Here's what makes this so hard to untangle. The guilt doesn't arrive after you say no. It arrives before, while you're still deciding. You're still forming the thought, "I don't want to do this." And already the guilt is there. What will they think? Will they feel hurt? Why can't I just be easier? It fires so fast, so automatically, that most people assume it means something. Like their body is warning them they're about to do something wrong. Can't write. But think about what that guilt actually feels like in your body. The tightening in your chest. The sudden urge to take it back before you've even said it. The relief, immediate, chemical, when you agree. That relief isn't your conscience clearing. That's your nervous system standing down from threat. Psychologists call this the fawn response, a survival pattern where your brain has learned, through real experience, that other people's disappointment is dangerous. Not metaphorically, physically, the way it was, at some point, for you. So when someone's unhappiness becomes possible, your brain doesn't stop to evaluate. It fires the alarm, immediately, before you act. The guilt isn't a signal that you're wrong. It's a reflex. And a reflex is not the same as the truth. We need to be specific, because people-pleasing is subtler than most think. It's not just saying yes to everything. It's softening your opinion the moment someone disagrees. Not because they convinced you, but because their discomfort felt like something you caused. It's laughing at a joke that made you uncomfortable. It's apologizing when someone walks into you. It's reading the room before you decide what you actually think. Checking what's safe to feel before you let yourself feel it. It's changing your answer when someone pushes back. Not because they had a better argument, because the friction felt unbearable. You don't take up space. You move into whatever space is left after everyone else has settled. And you've done this so long, so automatically, that one day you look up and realize you don't know what you actually want. What do I actually want? And the honest answer, the one that surprises you, is that you don't know. Because you stopped asking a long time ago. There's something living underneath all this convenience. Something you probably don't admit, even to yourself. Resentment. Not loud, dramatic resentment. The quiet kind. The flash of cold when someone asks for one more thing. The noticing, with a dull exhaustion, that you are always the one who adjusts. The wondering why nobody ever asks how you're doing with the same urgency they ask for your help. And then the guilt for feeling any of it. Because you're a kind person. Kind people aren't supposed to resent the people they love. But here's what nobody tells you. Resentment is not a character flaw. It's the receipt. It shows up when you help without being seen. When you say yes while every part of you says no. The resentment isn't the problem. The resentment is telling you something true. You're tired, not from lack of sleep, though that too. It's the weight of constantly monitoring, constantly adjusting, reading rooms, reading people, reading silences, figuring out what's needed before it's asked, softening your presence so you don't take up too much, bracing for a reaction that might never even come. That is exhausting in a way that a weekend off won't touch, because it's not physical exhaustion. It's the cost of running a second life alongside your own, a life entirely organized around other people's emotional comfort. You are managing yourself and everyone else, all the time. And almost nobody knows that's what you're doing, because you've made it look like nothing. Think about the last time someone asked you how you were doing. Really asked, not in passing. How long did you have to think before you could answer? How long since anyone, including you, actually waited for the real answer? And here is the part that nobody says out loud. The people you're working this hard to protect, they are not more comfortable because you're convenient. They are just unaware. Unaware that you're exhausted. Unaware that the yes cost you something. Unaware that the person sitting across from them is half absent, quietly managing their own pain in real time, and calling it love. You have been so careful, so thorough, so invisible in your effort, that the people closest to you have never had the chance to actually see you. They think they know you. They know a performance. This didn't start with weakness. It started with survival. For most people who become the convenient one, it happened early. There was a version of home where the emotional temperature shifted without warning, and you learned to read it before it changed. Not because you were asked to, because it felt necessary. Maybe love in your family arrived with conditions attached, tied to being good, being easy, being no trouble. Maybe the one time you said no, the reaction was so outsized, so frightening, that your nervous system took notes and never forgot. This is what happens when you disappoint people. You didn't choose to become convenient. You adapted. In an environment where someone else's emotional state determined how safe you were, making yourself small, agreeable, frictionless, that was intelligence. That was you, very young, reading the room you were given and doing what you had to do to survive it. The problem is that strategy is still running, in rooms where you are actually safe, with people who would not leave if you said no, in a life that is no longer the one you needed to survive. You are still bracing for an impact that stopped being real a long time ago. Here is the cost that runs deepest, not the exhaustion, not the resentment. This: you don't know who you are when nobody needs anything from you. Take away the requests, the favors, the people who depend on your yes, and what's left? Most people who've been convenient for a long time go quiet at that question, because they've spent so many years being what others needed that their own shape has gone unclear. You have preferences you've never followed, opinions you've swallowed so many times you're not sure anymore if they were even real. A version of yourself that only comes out when you're completely alone. Quieter, stranger, more specific than the one everyone knows. And you've never quite let it out into the room. Because what if they don't like it? What if the real version of you is too much, or not enough, or simply different from what people have grown used to? That question has kept you performing for a very long time. And here is what that costs in your relationships. When you are always convenient, always available, always agreeable, always fine, you accidentally close a door. The door where someone could come in and actually help you. Most people who love you would want to. They would show up for you the way you show up for them. But you've never left them an opening. You handle everything before it needs to be handled. You smooth everything before it becomes a problem. You say I'm fine with such convincing ease that the people who care about you have no reason to doubt it. And so the relationship stays lopsided. Not because they don't care, because you never let them. The goal is not to stop caring. You will keep caring. That's not going anywhere. The goal is to let the real version have a turn. And the place that starts is smaller than you think. Not a confrontation, not a declaration. Just one moment, maybe today, maybe this week, where you notice the automatic yes forming in your chest. You feel the alarm fire, the tightening, the pull toward agreement, and you don't follow it. Not yet. You let it sit there for 1 second. That second is everything, because in that second, you are not reacting. You are choosing. Maybe you still say yes. Maybe this time you actually want to. But now it's a choice. And a yes that comes from choice, even if it's the exact same word, lands differently. And maybe for the first time, someone will ask how you're doing, and actually get to hear the answer. In you. In the relationship. In the room. Because it's real. You won't change this overnight. The first time you say a real no, one that costs something, your heart will race. You will wait for the fallout. And sometimes there will be friction. Some people have quietly built their lives around your convenience, and they will feel the shift. But sometimes, more often than you expect, nothing will happen. Someone will say, okay, and move on. And you'll stand there for a moment, waiting for the catastrophe. And it won't come. That moment, quiet, small, almost unremarkable, is the moment you realize the impact you spent your whole life bracing for was never as certain as it felt. It was a feeling. A very old, very convincing feeling. But not the truth. Not a new you. Just you. Finally. Without the performance. If something in this felt familiar, if you recognized yourself somewhere in here, that recognition matters. It means something real is trying to surface. This channel exists for people who feel things deeply and are ready to understand why. If this video was useful, consider subscribing and leave a comment. What's one situation where saying no feels almost impossible, no matter how many times you've tried? Your answer might be exactly what someone else needed to find today.